up soon, Gary. We need a break.
That's Austin right there. With Octane Addictions, and now you got to find the announcer booth and call something brand new. How you feeling, man?
You know, it was kind of a curveball of free time.
Can you cut off 7? I gotta hang it up.
It's been going on for some time. I mean, I look at some of the work that was done. Being done in like the early 1900s in Philippines. Well, let's take a look at some of the history of Philippines.
Where's my fucking stand? It's over where we left it. Excuse me. Going right here. Thank you.
That is until now. The Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb. This will be the first ever run of a hill climb race on snow. 2 riders, side by side. First one to the top, brings home X Games gold.
And bringing out a little bit of history for you on the hill climb now. Okay, so tell me out of the snow. I heard they're not normally done in the snow, so how much different is this going to be than being done in dirt?
Well, I'll tell you what, we really practice right there. They go straight to the ground first, and then they break it up. So, you know, it's not the steepest hill we have. I'll tell you what, it's
Snow Hill Climb here on the 4th and final night at X Games Aspen 2018. Brandon Graham alongside X Games gold medalist Lance Corey. Of course, Diana Dahlgren out on the course. Lance, so good to have you in here.
It's good to be in the booth right now, and I was down on the field earlier today and last night watching these guys, 140 horsepower ripping up this mountain. It's pretty rad.
A brand new event making its X Games debut. If you like bikes, if you like snow, if you like head-to-head racing, do we have an event for you, the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb.
Well, what's interesting is these guys right here, Austin and Dan, they're going to get the fresh track. A bike hasn't gone up that yet.
That's a really good point. There you see Austin Cardwell and Dan Louders. And as we get to this, let's just break down what this comp really consists of. Because there you see the Super Pipe, there you see the bikes, fully on modified. Talk to me about these bikes, Lance.
Well, what's interesting is these bikes are the exact bikes that they do their normal hill climb racing on. So when they're on the, dirt, rocks, whatever they're on, they ride these tires. The only difference is they had to jet it for the 9,000 feet we're at, and also they normally don't ride in freezing temps. So they had to get the bikes adjusted for that, the carburetors, their fuel injection systems. But other than that, like I said, these courses are going to be changing so much throughout the night that they were even talking about tire PSI and if they should be lowering it as it gets, more chewed up.
All right.
So we'll see what they do.
That is the Super Pipe. The men's snowboard Super Pipe final literally just ended.
Yep.
All the snowboarders leave the pipe, and now it's time for these bikes to do a little slaying. Right now, we're giving you the quarterfinals. We've got 4 different matchups, and that will eventually lead us to our gold versus silver and who's going to earn bronze a little bit later on ESPN. But there you see a beautiful look at the pipe. Head-to-head right now, the first battle, Austin Cardwell versus Dan Louders. Austin Cardwell, 22 years old, the winner of the 2017 Great American Championship Hill Climb. He's out of Billings, Montana, going against Dan Louders, who's 42 years old, actually runs a Harley-Davidson dealership, West Bend Harley-Davidson, out of West Bend, Wisconsin.
Yeah, this is a 20-year age gap between these two guys.
Yeah, 22 versus 42.
Yep. Austin being the 22-year-old and Dan being the 42-year-old. I think you're gonna. I think that Austin has been in it so long, his whole life. It's in his blood. His grandpa's done it for 65 years. So I wouldn't say that the 42-year-old Dan has much more. What would you call? Much more knowledge about this because they're both coming to ice for the first time.
Oh, that's a very interesting point. So it's our race number 1 of 4 here in the quarterfinals. Cardwell versus Louders. The very first head-to-head race of the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb here at X Games Aspen 2018. And I can't think of a better way to close out this edition of X Games than with a brand new event. There you see Austin Cardwell, our number 1 seed out here. So I think you're right on to something, Lance, in saying he has just as much experience as his elder counterpart. Let's get it on right here, right now. Race number 1.
Austin out of the gate on the gas. He's just running away with it. It looks to me like Dan's struggling with his bike a little.
Yeah, Cardwell getting the whole shot and leaving no doubt about it. No photo finish needed here. There's a reason why he's the number 1 seed.
Yeah, well, Austin's on a bike that's actually fuel injected, which is helping quite a bit in this elevation. And Dan's on a carbureted bike, and you could hear that bike just sputtering. Basically right when it started to hit that grade,
Give us the dimensions of this pipe. I know they're 22-foot walls because I call the snowboarding because that's what's really imperative to us. But talk to us about the pitch and the length here.
Well, the pitch is 18 degrees, and it's actually in person, it's a lot steeper than you would imagine. And then it's 550 feet long, which is almost 2 football fields.
So Austin Cardwell wins that. He will be moving on. And just like that, our quarters continue. Travis Whitlock versus Josh Mueller. Travis Whitlock, 48 years old. He's the oldest competitor at X Games Aspen 2018. He's actually the most decorated hill climber in this field. A 38-year hill climb racing career. He's won 14 North American Hill Climb Championship titles, and he's going head-to-head against 26-year-old Josh Mueller.
This is going to be interesting. One of them is a 26-year-old who is probably, single or whatever it be. He's just a young kid, and then we have Travis, who's a grandpa. Oh, so you have a grandpa against a young kid.
Yeah, right. So Josh Mueller races out of the Louders West Bend Harley-Davidson shop. So we've got a couple of Louders in this thing. We just saw Dan. His brother Louie will also be competing. So really a family affair out here. Time for race number 2 between Whitlock and Mueller.
I think something we saw again was that the fuel injected bike, you know, it stays in the power a little bit easier on that. And that's where I think where the advantage is on this race. But you notice the one number 2 right there.
Yeah, Whitlock.
Whitlock, he actually has more of a studded motocross dirt tire.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And Josh has a paddle-like tire with big bolts on it, which is interesting.
And again, this is the first time we've ever contested this event. And obviously these guys have gotten some practice here over the last couple of days, but these are hill climbers. This is not an event. This is not conditions that they're accustomed to. So they're certainly feeling it out. And while I do say they did get practice reps, it was limited certainly because the pipe was focused with all of our ski and snowboard events. These guys did not get very much time here on this pipe.
I think they got 2 runs each last night, and then they're into it. And you can see, like I said, right now in the closer shots of their tires, the differences that these guys are rolling with. And I was curious yesterday as to which one would really matter today.
And you saw Whitlock's experience there. There's a reason why he's been so good and so dominant in this sport. We move on to our next bracket. Logan Simpala going against Jake Anston.
2 20-year-olds this time.
Yeah, now the kids are coming out to play. Logan was the 2017 Rockwell Pro Hill Climb overall champion. And Jake was the 2016 NAHA 450 Pro Points champ and 2016 Rookie of the Year, and finished second in the 450 class of 2017. So a lot of racing experience between these two.
Yep. And I believe a lot of these guys, they're racing, you know, cross country together, not just at X Games.
So it's time for our third quarterfinal race.
Logan's taking off. I put my money on him yesterday.
This is your guy.
Yeah. So you can see him getting stuck in the rut right there.
So Logan showing no problem with this course. And again, I guess it's just coincidence at this point, but Ryder's right side has won all 3 races thus far.
Good point. Yeah. Well, you saw Jake, he got stuck in a rut towards the end, and he had a hard time getting out of it. Look at him dealing with the ruts, kind of looking down, his front end's washing out. He was struggling getting traction, that's for sure.
So Logan Simpala moves on.
I'm going Logan to the end of the night. What do you think?
Well, just to shake things up, Austin Cardwell, the #1 seed. You know I like to jump on the favorites bandwagon. I'm gonna take Austin here.
Okay.
But we move on to the next bracket, our 4th and final quarterfinal. Louis Louders, 42 years old, who runs the West Bend Harley-Davidson in Wisconsin, along with his brother Dan, going against Logan Mead, 23 years old, who won the 2017 NAHA overall points championship.
So both these guys are going to be on Harley-Davidson. I know that Louis's brother Dan's bike wasn't running too good, so I'm wondering if they unfortunately set them up the same. You know, and if he's going to be kind of out there with the same problems.
Louders versus Mead. Again, another big age discrepancy. Louders 42, Logan Mead just 23 years old, but I think it's a lot like that first bracket we saw between Cardwell and Louders. I think you can throw age out the window here. Logan Mead, a very accomplished racer.
Well, let's see if that left lane, right lane plays a role tonight.
Logan Mead out of Concord, California.
So it looks like Logan Mead would be in the bad
Right.
line. This could be the you know, the race that changes that ratio.
The last of our quarterfinal matchups right now. And again, Lance, that right side just showing a little more pace, although Mead started to make some ground, getting a little squirrely there.
Look at how Louis' bike handled this race. Brothers bikes, you would think they'd have them set up the same, but
yeah,
Louis' bike took off on that race.
Yeah, Louis Harley had no problems. We take a look at the start, getting the whole shot and holding that lead. It looked like Mead might be able to make up some ground early on.
That left lane looks real rutted up.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any other explanation at this point.
I don't know. I'd just be hoping that I can choose the right gate.
I'm hoping that we get to see you in this, maybe in the future.
Put me in, coach.
That's right. I mean, I like having you here in the booth, but I like talking about you behind your back better.
Oh, man.
So Louis Louders wins our final quarter pipe. What sport am I coming from? Quarterfinal event.
It's cool to see one of the West Bend brothers get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Louis Louders, along with his brother Dan, running the West Bend Harley-Davidson dealership. They're in West Bend, Wisconsin.
They've been working on Harleys longer than some of their competitors have even been alive.
Right. So great to see the fans out here later on in the evening at Buttermilk Mountain to see a first ever event. Of course, if you're watching this right now, snowmobile or best trick is going on right now. So here's Austin Cardwell taking on Travis Louders in the semifinals, race 1 of 2.
Youngest versus oldest.
Again, Austin, our #1 seed, going against Travis Whitlock. Austin Cardwell versus Travis Whitlock. Travis, the most accomplished rider in this field.
Who do we have in the right gate this time?
It looks like Whitlock is on the left-hand side and Cardwell is on rider's right.
Uh-oh, so Cardwell #1 seed, but he's in the not as good side.
Let me take one more look. No, Cardwell is rider's right. So if you're watching, it's on the left-hand side. I believe Austin Cardwell is on the left. So our #1 seed is actually on the faster side.
Okay.
As bib #2, Travis Whitlock.
Yep.
We'll see. Whitlock showed no problem on the other side. Super accomplished. Obviously, 38-year career. As we said, he's won 14 North American hill climb championships. And let's go to the Graham real quick. Things could get dicey tonight. That's a shot. Look at that tire. Yeah, these things aren't modified at all, Lance.
No, not at all. This is right out of the dealership. But both of these bikes are fuel-injected bikes.
Yeah, good point.
Which is going to be interesting to see how they compete against each other. Like I said, oldest versus youngest right now, aged riders.
And I would say these were the 2 best showings we saw in the quarterfinals. Was watching both of these guys win their races. This is going to be a battle right here, right now, between Cardwell and Whitlock. And Whitlock out of the gate, speeding up.
Wow.
And it looks like he's going to break the trend, Lance.
There we go. If you notice, he rode real high up on the wall of the half pipe.
Yeah.
You know, he stayed out.
That
of those
was
ruts.
a really smart strategy. Obviously,
Is that
Whitlock
age?
saw what was going on. Yeah, is that age? Is that experience?
He really planned out his line and he stuck hard left.
Right, which he had to weigh out the risk there.
Yep.
because these guys are meant to be racing on the flat bottom. As you see, it gets a little bit out in front of him, but then watch him start to veer just a little bit.
Yep. Look at, he takes the cleanest line with no ruts.
Right.
He stays on the wall.
Up the wall.
That's a tight race right there.
Right. And that could have had a very different outcome. But Travis Whitlock getting aggressive and getting the win over the #1 seed.
Yep. Hey, when it's real racing, you put it all out there.
So with that, Travis Whitlock advancing to the final. That's the type of race we were looking for here with the Harley-Davidson snow hill climb.
Yep. It's just going to keep getting better and better and better.
So Travis Whitlock moving on. And we'll find out who's going to be joining him.
You know what's rad is these bikes are pushing upwards of 140, 150 horsepower. I mean, the average car on the road barely has 200 horsepower.
Right.
Could you imagine these bikes weigh maybe 300-400 pounds?
Moving up that type of pitch.
And when you're out there, on the field, they're all running race gas. I mean, you just smell it.
You smell it as you walk around.
So now look at the track. Look at all the lines on the hill. Look at how chewed up it is.
Yep.
And now even more and more, that the angle on the quarter pipes on each side is going to get more and more chewed up, and those lines are going to get harder and harder and harder.
It'll be very interesting to see in this particular race between Logan Cipala and Louis Louders.
I mean, look at those. Look at how like kind of squirrely they are. So if you get stuck in one, it's almost going to take you where the guy who put that there went.
Right. So there's a great look at our super pipe. A huge event going down just a little bit earlier. Just an insane elevated level of riding. Ayumu Hirano putting down a 99 to win the thing outright, and as exciting a finish it was, we do obviously want to put our thoughts toward Yuri Podlachikov, iPod. He fell very hard in the final. He is currently being evaluated for a head injury. He's been transported to the hospital for further evaluation. We'll keep you updated on that one. We're all pulling for Yuri.
All right, so we have Logan out there right now. He's the youngest one.
Right. Logan Cipala, 22 years old, going against 47-year-old Louis Louders.
Like I said, Louis been wrenching on bikes, and way before Logan was even a thought. And now Louis is going to be on the left side, it looks like.
Right.
And so let's see if his age and wisdom can get him a good line. Listen to those bikes, straight pipe. There's no mufflers on them.
So Louders there is on the right side, Ryder's left. Let's see if he takes a cue from Whitlock, who got creative over on that side and does something similar, Lance.
Yep. Now what's interesting is Logan actually has a Buell engine.
Yes.
Which is a division of Harley, or was a division of Harley. And then Louis got a Harley-Davidson engine. And I believe Louis' bike doesn't even have a transmission, it's just all throttle.
Let's see what happens here. Louders gets a good start, but Cipala moves. And Cipala showing no problem as he takes ahead. And he gets it.
That was a close one.
Wow. It looked to me like Louders might have gotten the whole shot. He got a really nice start, but Cipala just showing a great racing acumen, not letting up, holding on for the victory.
Right lane prevails.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like Cipala might have had just a little issue out the gate, but that's where you see the pass. Right as they enter the pipe.
Yep. They were neck and neck for the first 25 to 50 feet.
And there you see again, Louders riding up the wall, just not having the same success that Whitlock did before him.
Yep. And like I said, every time they keep riding up on that wall, they're breaking it up more and more and more, making it a little harder to ride. So Logan advances. Logan's the one that I kind of put my money on for this one.
So Sapala moving on. What an event this has been thus far here, making its debut in the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb. I'm fired up for these finals, man.
Yeah, and they just keep getting closer and closer, neck and neck as they get to the top. Like I said, though, look at the tracks on the hill. It's just getting more rutted out, wider and wider.
Well, earlier I reported on Yuri Podlachikov. I did just get a bit of info regarding iPod's injury. CT scans were negative for brain and neck injury. He did sustain a nasal fracture. He is alert and conversing and will be kept for observation. So that's good news to hear for iPod. If you're just joining us, Yuri Podlachikov going down very hard in the pipe. He was transported to the hospital, but a bit of good news. So with that, our quarters and semis are officially in the books. And we're going to be moving on to the finals.
That is all coming up right here. Thanks for joining us. The Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb. The bronze medal, the gold medal matchup coming out.
So it's been really neat to see the way these guys strategize, really riding the pipe for some of them, really only the second time ever. But good showings, and I think the races only got better as we went on, Lance.
Yeah, the races did get better. They had to get a little more strategic going up there, trying to stay out of ruts, trying to get the hard pack line so they can get the most traction, the most power to the ground. And like I said, I mean, the guys are getting closer and closer in time.
Well, coming up, make sure you get over to ESPN because that'll be the first match we're showing, the bronze medal match between Austin Cardwell and Louis Louders. And our gold medal matchup, Travis Whitlock versus Lance Corey's pick to win this thing, Logan Sapala.
I think he's going to take it home.
Here at Buttermilk Mountain. It's the debut of Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb, and those two races will be going on live on ESPN. We thank you wherever you are watching, but make sure you get over to ESPN to watch these two races. Lance, this was fun, man. Let's do it again.
This was rad. I actually want to be out there on the bike, though.
Well, go out there. Well, thank you so much for watching. For Lance Corey, I am Brandon Graham. Make sure you head over to ESPN to watch the finals, and we're going to give away some medals in this debut event.
X Games Aspen is brought to you by SoFi, a new kind of finance company, and LifeProof, phone cases and speakers for every adventure.
Welcome to the inaugural Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb here from our fourth and final night of X Games Aspen 2018. Brandon Graham alongside X Games gold medalist Chris Barant, Diana Dahlgren out on the course. Chris, I'm fired up for this one, the debut of a brand new event here at Buttermilk Mountain.
Are you kidding me? V-twin Harleys ripping up the pipe? Can it get any better?
Yeah, I thought you'd like that. Let's take a closer look at these Harleys with Diana Dahlgren in the Harley-Davidson Gear Check.
Now behind me is a Harley-Davidson Sportster, or once was a Sportster. Let's check out the major modifications made for the hill climb. The frame, it is now a dirt bike style frame that's lighter, wider, and extended. The motor, it is nearly doubled in horsepower in comparison to its original form. Feel the power. And then the back swing arm has been extended almost a foot to keep traction on the snow so this bike doesn't flip over. The rear tires will have bolts, studs, or paddles for added traction. With bikes built like these, it is going to be an exciting day of head-to-head action at the first ever Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb.
Well, it's time to fire these bikes up here at the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb, and we begin with our bronze medal match between Austin Cardwell and Louis Louders. Louis Louders, 47 years old. He and his brother Dan run the West Bend Harley-Davidson dealership in West Bend. And Austin Cardwell, 22 years old, won the 2017 Great American Championship Hill Climb. Both terrific stories going head-to-head for a bronze.
Well, what's cool to see is we've got two different disciplines. We've got ice racing versus the hill climb guys. Here, Cardwell, 22 years old, just a ripper on a bike.
And it should be noted in our quarters and semis, that rider's left, that right side that you saw Cardwell on, was running a little bit slower. So the racers were going to have to get creative on that side. We were seeing them right up against the wall a little bit to gain some speed. We'll see if that plays an effect here in the final. It's Cardwell versus Louders for a bronze medal. Cardwell showing no issues with that side, getting the whole shot and laying the pipe to waste. He's turning over, he's looking over his shoulder, Chris.
That was an incredible run. These guys were approaching speeds of 75 to 80 miles an hour at the top of the pipe.
Incredible, going up that 18-degree pitch that is the super pipe. Austin Cardwell, there's a reason why he was our #1 seed going into this, and with that, he earns the bronze medal.
And you could, Brando, just like you had mentioned, he started off a little left, hooked up into that traction closer to the edge of the pipe.
And I love this, the multiple look backs. 1, 2, right before the finish line.
You just earned yourself a medal. Yeah. These are completely modified custom bikes. Basically, what they do is they're building the frame around the motor. Huge V-twin, big CCs, big horsepower.
Yeah, these bikes are modified in a big way as they're absolutely slaying this super pipe.
And talk about traction. You can see as Austin's locking up the tire here, I mean, the spikes and the screws in these tires for this traction is incredible.
Well, it should be noted as the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb is going off in this pipe. Earlier tonight, we did have the men's snowboard super pipe final. It was really an event for the ages. We'd never seen performances like that, but it wasn't without some concern. Yuri Podlachikov, one of the best in the world, went down very hard, and I do have an update on iPod. He did get transported to the hospital. His CT scans were negative for brain and neck injury. He did sustain a nasal fracture. He is alert and conversing and will be kept for observation. So we're really optimistic, and that's great news to hear there on iPod. So we move on with the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb final. It all comes down to this, Chris, the main event. A gold medal to end X Games Aspen in the debut of an event. Are you kidding me?
You know, I am so pumped for Travis Whitlock. I mean, the dude's, don't want to make you sound old, but you're a grandpa, Travis. And I mean, for him to be out here, these guys are just so stoked to get the exposure of X Games.
Right, absolutely. So it's the gold medal match of the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb. And the fans are still out here to end the night. We look at this battle between 48-year-old Travis Whitlock against 22-year-old Logan Cipala in the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb. It's the gold medal match. Travis Whitlock, 38th year of his hill climb career, a 3-time world champion, a 14-time North American Hill Climb Association national champion. He's got the accolades, but Logan Cipala is coming in hot, Chris.
Man, we got the 22-year-old youngster. He's lined up on that left line. I look for him to really sneak left, get that traction of where the ice comes down at the lower part of the pipe.
Absolutely. These two looked so good in the semis.
Look at that tire. Look at that absolute gnarly, screwed up tire there that is just, he's ready to go.
The oldest competitor at X Games this year, 48 years young, Travis Whitlock. This is it for the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb gold medal.
Whitlock gets the whole shot. Look at him riding that wall, dragging away.
He got a little squirrely at the top, focused, and left no doubt about it, Chris. Travis Whitlock wins the very first Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb gold medal.
What a stud. Travis just took this race and took home the gold.
He made it interesting out the gate, though.
Well, he had a game plan. You saw him. He turned right, and he knew with all that traction, the studs and screws in that tire, he wanted to grip up on that ice.
We went through his accomplishments, a 38-year career in hill climb. You know that had to mean something. Now, certainly, it's all created equal as we take another look, as none of these guys had experience in snow. But Whitlock's experience and accomplishments certainly play a part in the strategy, and he makes it happen.
It's funny. You can see, I mean, when he got onto the side of that pipe, that's his style. I mean, hanging a leg, pretending he's in Montana, climbing those big, gnarly Widowmaker hills. I mean, that's him.
Age is only a number, and you just see that experience paying off for Whitlock.
What a run.
It's really been his night all night long. As you see his family come in there. He didn't just win a gold medal, he won a gold medal in an inaugural event, Chris. That's a huge deal.
Well, and you can see his family surrounding him. Travis is a family man, it's a family sport. It's just great to see the camaraderie of the hill climb community.
Out of Springville, Utah, Travis Whitlock earns the very first Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb gold medal. Got to pop that top off to put the hardware on.
The first ever gold medalist, Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb, Travis Whitlock. We were just talking before the final. You told me you would see me here, you would be here, and here you are.
You know, yeah, I can't explain it. I've been doing this for 38 years and always dreamed of an X Games hill climb event. Never dreamed it'd be in the winter. I got to thank Fox and the Winter X Games, Harley-Davidson for making this happen. It's an amazing spectacle, and I gambled with this tire that I built the night before we got here, and man, that Woody's tire just hooked up, and man, it's hard to hang on to this thing. It was awesome.
Well, congratulations once again, Travis Whitlock taking the first ever gold medal here at the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb. Give it up to this guy, Brando. Chris, take it away.
Do you hear that? Travis was modifying that wheel last night, and he wins a gold? Are you kidding me?
Oh, it's so awesome. I mean, so funny to hear him say, I never thought I'd be doing this on snow. I always pictured it on dirt.
A 38-year career, and I think he's just getting started when it comes to this event. What an inaugural showing here for the Harley-Davidson Snow Hill Climb. What a night it's been here in Aspen. More from Buttermilk when we return as we send it over to Jack Matrani in the host set.